Hello, Roger Bisbee here from the Skill Builder channel. We're joined today by Sean Sparrow, who has a company called Studarter. So, good morning, Sean. How are you doing?
Morning, Roger. Very well, thank you.
Let's get straight to it then, and you tell me what Studarter is and why we need it.
Studarter is a new product. It's only been going about a year. And what it does, it allows you to build a timber or metal stud wall off a concrete floor that contains underfloor heating pipes without any risk of drilling into the floor or having to glue the floor plate to the concrete floor.
What was wrong with gluing it?
You can sometimes get the floor plate to shear, the bond shears, because you're supposed to scabble the floor first and you're supposed to wait for the floor to fully dry, to fully cure. Yep. And quite often you don't have that time on a project. So you take a shortcut, you apply the adhesive. And if you have a high enough shear force, you can break the bond of the floor plate from the floor.
So you say mechanically fix into the screed. We've got piping screed, underfloor heating in there. And your concern is that somebody's going to drill through a pipe.
What we do is we create a metal strip called a Studarter, and it's got fixing positions down the length of the strip. And prior to you laying the underfloor heating pipes, you simply lay the Studarter strips out on top of the membrane. And using the same kind of clips that you'd use for the pipework, you fix the Studarter strip through to the insulation where the planned wall is going to be erected, and then you lay your underfloor heating pipes on top of the Studarter strips. You then fix some 250mm M10 studs into the fixing positions, cast your concrete floor, and then you've got effectively threaded bars that come through the concrete or the screed floor that you can mark your timber stud work off to, oversize, drill some holes, drop those over those protruding studs, and you can basically bolt the floor plate down securely, permanently. No drilling, no adhesive.
If we're going to drill through the membrane, you say we're fixing to the insulation with this starter strip, yeah?
Yeah, with the same plastic clips that you would use for the pipework itself.
I mean, it sounds like a good idea, I've got to say, but are you selling any? How's it going for you?
We've only been going about just over a year, so it's been quite a lot of time developing the product, doing various trials on site, finessing the product, and now we're at the point that we're in a local builder's merchant that's a regional merchant for the southwest of England. They're stocking the product. We've had a number of construction sites using it, and they've gotten really well with it. It speeds up the job as well because you don't have to wait for the slab to dry out if you're going to wait for the adhesive to be used. You can just crack on and put the floor plate down straight away since the slab's ready. So far we've had good positive feedback.
Yeah, are these big builders or small builders or what?
Small local builders.
So a lot of one-offs. So really what you want to do is get the big house builders, yeah.
We're looking at trying to get it specified with some larger construction companies. We're also looking at trying to get the thing BBA approved, just to give it some more credibility.
That's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
BBA approval, that's not a cheap hobby by any means. And you tweak one aspect of it and you have to go through the whole blooming process again. It's a bit of a minefield, that. But anyway, like you say, if you get that, then it's a stamp, isn't it? A lot of the big house builders will want somebody else's accreditation on it before they take the chance, I suppose. Not that there's any risk involved in it. I can't see any risk involved in it anyway. So
it's a fastening system at the end of the day, Roger. It's no different from a nut or bolt, but I can't believe it hasn't been invented before. That's the crazy thing. You know the problems that can arise from if you hit a pipe, all of the rework and digging out and repressurizing the system, testing it, and and that's if it goes wrong at the build stage, at the construction stage. If it goes wrong later on, you nick the pipe, and through thermocycling of the pipe, it then leaks 6 months down the line. It's hugely expensive to repair and put right.
That is very common, because if you actually put a screw through a bit of plastic pipe, a lot of the time it seals pretty well, and you wouldn't necessarily know about it until you say 6 months, even longer, before it starts showing that little patch on the floor, and you've got an unexplained pressure drop on your heating system. I've got a friend who's got a leak detection service, and they are, it's become good business for them, going out to underfloor heating system trying to find that leak. I think a lot of the problem, when you said that nobody's ever done it before and you can't understand why, it could be because they don't see the market for it. If the underfloor heating guy is putting down his underfloor heating, he's not interested in the guy who's doing the stud wall. So these small builders, because they're doing the whole job and they may have had a bad experience in the past, then they're more inclined to buy your product. But a lot of other people, they think this is adding time to my job and this is also adding cost to my job, which doesn't benefit me. You get this a lot in the building industry. People say, yeah, it's all very well, but I'm not interested in making life easier for people who are 2 or 3 trades down the line. So from that point of view, the guy doing the underfloor heating, if you're targeting him as your person, it needs to be on a specifiers list, really, doesn't it, rather than relying on individual tradesmen. I can't see plumbers being particularly interested in putting this down. I'll go back to my little thing that I say I've got a way of testing finding pipes, and that's simply that you use the thermal imaging camera, which are very cheap now, and you just warm the floor up slightly. You don't need to warm it up that much, and then you start seeing the clear lines of the pipes. But it's still, I must admit that even when I do that, I've still got fingers crossed as I drill through.
You might be able to see where the pipe is. I don't know how long it would take for you to be able to find the pipe with thermal imaging camera. There's some certainty when you know you've got studs coming out the floor, and all you've got to do is bolt to those studs. There's no risk. There's no chance of it going wrong. And if you're laying the underfloor heating pipes, it's very quick to lay stud starter. It's literally just a few clips to push it in. And I think you're right. I think we need to talk to the architects, which is what we're doing. We're calling all of the local regional REBA architects, working through them and offering continuous professional development sessions with them to educate them on the benefits of stud starters. So it's going to take some time to convince people it's a good solution, but I think the key thing about it is it eliminates any risk.
Getting people to buy it is the real challenge. I've seen some great products in the past which have fallen simply because they can't get distribution. They can't get, like you're going around to the merchants one by one, knocking on their doors, standing there at the back of the queue, waiting until they've got a couple of minutes to talk to you and getting it in. But you need to talk to some bigger people, don't you, really? So I've been involved in a couple of other products which have taken an amount of time to get into market, to change somebody's work methods or whatever, and it does take time, takes effort. Okay. Can you tell us what those products are or not?
So that's to do with floor joint systems for industrial concrete floors.
Oh, okay.
Large warehouses and such like.
Schluter's territory, really.
More so on the industrial large warehouse logistics centres, more so than the top floor plates, the actual joints that separate concrete slab panels as they're being
movement. Is it a movement joint, basically?
It allows for the contraction of the slabs. So you introduce a new product there, and it takes some time to get people convinced to change from old processes and methods, but it can be done. It just takes time.
And that's good, so long as you're realistic about it. I mean, I think one of the things we get on Skill Builder quite a lot is that we've had countless people contacting us. There might be a bricklayer who's invented a way of holding the string line or something like that, and they kind of give up their day job and start hawking it around the merchants. In the end, after they've remortgaged their house and done everything else, they go back to bricklaying because, it's a great dream. Everybody wants to invent the workmate or something, don't they? But it's sometimes very, very difficult, and it's made harder, of course, by the fact that we have our friends over in China who will see an idea and copy it and flog it to you for a fraction of the price. So that's another one you have to, you got your patent. I say to people when they patent a device or a thing, I say that's all right, but what are you going to do when somebody infringes your patent? Because when you're going to try taking the Chinese to court, it's tricky.
Impossible.
I mean, there are people out there who live permanently out in China just chasing patent infringements, and as soon as they close down one, another starts up. When people are looking for your product, they can find it in merchants. Can they order it directly from you?
They can order it directly from us. At the moment, we've only got a regional builders merchant on board, but we are trying to target some national builders merchants, and that's in progress. So it'd be nice to get some of the main brand names you're familiar with up and down the country stocking it. But as I said, it's early days at the moment, but that's our intention.
Those studs poking out there, I mean, you can cut them off, but there's no need to, is there really? They're
that long because we don't know how thick the floor is going to be. So we may be 250 mil long. Maybe in the future we may want to reduce them with some experience as to what the most common sizes are that people tell us about. But
Yeah.
catered for quite a deep floor there.
Okay, well, look, I think that's interesting, but it's obviously not for me to decide. It's for our viewers to decide. Give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down, as they usually do. They don't hesitate to shovel on the pain. So let's see what they have to say about it. But to me, it looks like a good system, and like you say, if you can get it into the hands of the bigger builders, it could be. And of course, it works with a metal stud wall as well as a timber one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
As you say, you've been around the block a bit. You've done this before, so you're used to the little bit of resistance that you get whenever you introduce a new product to the market.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sure the person who invented the wheel, who history doesn't record, obviously, I'm sure they had a few people leaning against a tree saying that'll never work. So if people want to find a stud starter and they haven't got one in their local merchants, what can they do, Sean?
They can go to our website, stud-starter.com. All of our contact details are on there, and they can buy direct from us.
So if you've got a product that you'd like us to have a look at, if you're a small business, if you're somebody who's a tradie but you've invented something, then let us see, and I'm sure our viewers will be interested and give you their verdict.